Belding School is a 110-year-old neighborhood elementary school in the Old Irving Park and Mayfair neighborhoods of Chicago. And this very old school building has been well maintained, but we had outside of our school a field and a yard that had fallen into disrepair over the years. Belding had one of the original field houses, which was a neighborhood area for kids to play in the evenings that had an evening teacher, and for many, many decades there were programs in the Belding field house similar to Park District programs. But that program has not been funded by CPS for several decades, and our ratty old field house was falling into disrepair and was really a safety hazard.
The way the old field was kind of set up in the whole basketball court and playground and the whole area, it was really just a poor use of space. It was kind of disjointed. So the field house sort of cut the whole lot in half, so to speak, which meant you kind of had this area where there was a field that wasn't really good to begin with. It had like a manhole in it. The grass was kind of in poor condition. So it wasn't really useful that much in its own. And then on the other half of the field you had kind of asphalt that wasn't really safe for the kids.
Chicago Public Schools knew that the old field house needed to be taken down, and they sent an architect to inspect the site and scope out what the possibilities might be. When she came, she talked about possibilities for either just removing the field house and leaving a blank patch of dirt in its place, or rebuilding and redesigning the entire site to make better use of the space that we had. The Belding staff and the Belding parents and the Old Irving Mayfair community organized and rallied to throw support behind the idea of improving the entire field area that we have. Our state senator, Ira Silverstein, donated $25,000, which could be used toward playground improvements. Our alderman sat in on meetings with the architect and lobbied for this space to be made into a better community resource for the neighborhood. And our parents mobilized around raising additional funds to supplement if Chicago Public Schools was not able to fund the entire project. This past winter, I received an exciting phone call from the head of operations saying that funding would be provided for Belding to have the entire lot redesigned, and the playground would have the old field house removed and the space would be redeveloped with an artificial turf soccer field, a track, and an entirely new playground. What has blown me away during this entire process is how respectful and how professional the project has been completed by the various architects and contractors who made it happen. When architects designed the original project, they provided it to us so that the Belding staff and families could review the architectural designs and offer input. And we made a few minor tweaks to the designs by having various stakeholders take a look at the plans and think through what would be the best use of the space for our children. The construction project began this past summer. Quite a lot of groundwork was done to prepare the site, and then the construction process happened quite quickly, and at every step of the way as the work was happening and as meetings were held, I felt confident that every worker was trying to do what was best for the kids. If you visit the Belding field today, it looks so different than what it did a few months ago. Instead of a rickety old hillbilly shack field house, we now have an artificial turf soccer field, and it's regulation size for U10. The area around the soccer field is a small 200-meter asphalt track, and there is some small areas of landscaping, a half-court basketball and hoop, and brand new playground equipment that includes 2 jungle gym sets, one for younger children and one for older children. Around the perimeter there are some bushes and benches, and I'm so proud of the space because it really is beautiful. I've come to visit the school in the evenings games and on the weekends during the past few weeks as this field has opened. I was here yesterday afternoon on Sunday afternoon, and the field had a pickup game of teenagers playing soccer. There were mothers with strollers walking around the track. There was a dad teaching his kid to ride a bike in the asphalt, and there were dozens and dozens of children playing on the jungle gym. So I felt such pride walking up to the school and seeing that it is a gathering place for the community, and the space, which is for kids to use during and after the school day, is also a treasure for the community. It's a wonderful play space in an area that doesn't have a lot of other play spaces.
We only have boys in the fall, but in the spring, you know, there's already dozens of girls that are nagging me and saying, we need to have a girls team. How come there's no girls team? Mr. R, you need to coach a girls team. So it looks like we'll have a girls team in the spring.
This new space allows for great improvements in the physical education curriculum at Belding. Our PE teacher is so excited to have a real athletic space and is tweaking her curriculum to allow for more outdoor curriculum, including soccer and track, to make good use of that space. It will really provide us much more useful outdoor PE space, which for urban kids, having a place out to be outdoors and to be moving their bodies is super important. We're proud to be part of the Michelle Obama campaign against childhood obesity, and having this place for kids to move is critical in that effort. Going forward, we are thrilled about this space. Our Belding parents have already begun organizing to raise more funds from different funding sources like the Chicago Fire or local athletic teams to provide additional improvements to that space. For example, to seek funds for a scoreboard so that when we host meets, we have a way to show the score easily. The space is really a critical gathering place for our school. When we have school-wide events, we'll be using that outdoor field in ways that we never did before. It's also a gathering place for the community. We can host community events more easily in that beautiful space. The space is also a potential fundraiser for the school, as we can rent it for community or athletic events and generate needed funds to help out improving things back here at the school for children. So we're just thrilled to have this space and know that we'll make the most of it going forward.